After 284 days off the floor, Caitlin Clark was back, and it looked like she never left.
Over there, making the offensive foul. Clark takes the three and drills it.
A torn-up groin, 4 separate muscle injuries, 13 games played all year, and a league whose national TV ratings dropped 55% the second she sat down. But she didn't walk into Barclays alone. From the jump, you could feel it. This first preseason game of year 3 was going to be something special.
Billings down low, hands it off to Clark. Clark being guarded by Gardner. Puts the floater up and rattles it in.
And not much later, she gave the fans what they had been waiting on for so long.
Yes, she is a knockdown shooter. She is feisty. Over there, making the offensive foul. Clark takes the three and drills it. Oh my!
And we were only a few minutes in, but it wasn't a back-to-back kind of night just yet.
Clark, the step back. Doesn't get it to fall.
When she tried to get to the rim, the Liberty gave her the welcome she's been getting since day one. Luckily, her teammates were right there to make them pay.
By Jonquel Jones. Cunningham, another one. Cash.
Just a glimpse of the start was enough to see the impact she had, and she was making sure to get her teammates involved too.
Puts that one in.
I really like that. Ionescu just going to set an easy screen. And there's so much pace, I can't even get a word in here, partner.
The new pieces were already clicking. Clark was making everyone around her look elite.
That is an area of her game where she said she has continued to grow, and we're seeing it right there.
Beautiful touch.
Billings.
But she wasn't just hunting jumpers. The pace was relentless, and the broadcasters couldn't keep up with how fast the Fever were moving.
Really nice pass, and Valor just running the floor.
And then the passing. The kind of touch she said she's been sharpening all offseason. Easy job for whoever was on the receiving end of one of those. But that physicality from earlier got a little more obvious. She got hacked bringing the ball up the floor, and this time, the refs actually called it. And there was no doubt she'd knock both free throws down. But just like Clark, the new pieces on the Fever still needed some time to adjust. And it showed.
Double team, sneaking her way inside, gets it outside, the jumper. Doesn't get it to...
Clark made sure her teammates were the ones answering back. She doesn't always need the ball in her hands to take over a possession.
Championship season with the Liberty, and look at those numbers, undeniable when they are healthy and out there on the floor.
Yes, the Liberty.
After that last 3, we were still waiting on another jumper to fall. But when the shots weren't dropping, Clark always found a way to set her teammates up.
She's gonna get her feet set, but that's where she's grown. She's agile in running the floor. I walked into training camp yesterday, and first thing I look, I'm like, girl, your back, your shoulders, your arms, your muscles, and she replied, thank you, girl, I've been working on it.
Cunningham puts it in again.
It looked like she had Hawkeyes out there, even when she was getting double-teamed.
Starting in the first game, she's already on fire. Clark out to Cunningham, takes it again.
And it didn't stop there. She took it all the way to the buzzer at the end of the half.
Great addition to the Fever this year.
Mitchell takes it inside the lane and ties it up.
But even when the shots weren't falling, she made sure her defense stayed locked in.
For the Fever, Elijah Laney Hamilton. Active hands by the Fever.
That play set up the last bucket before the half, and it gave the Fever the lead going into the break.
Clark uses the screen, maybe falls to the ground. Cunningham gets it out to Mitchell, fires, connects on the 3.
Halftime. Fever up 53-48, and nobody walking into this game knew what to expect from a player 9 months removed from real basketball. By the half, everyone had their answer, but even then, you could still see Clark wasn't all the way there yet. A missed layup here, an off jumper there. After missing that much time, the rhythm still needed some time to come back. But one thing was clear, she was everywhere, locked in on defense, while still pushing the pace on offense. But it wouldn't be a Caitlin Clark game without defenders getting physical with her, even in preseason.
She's just trying to get her feet under her. She's been having some great attacks.
After getting arm locked and dragged around, the refs finally gave her the call. She was getting the protection she'd been needing, and the space to do what she does best.
Mitchell stops, that's her spot, gets it to fall.
The Liberty kept sending physical defenders at her all night, trying to knock her out of rhythm. Luckily, that's the welcome she's been getting since day one.
Getting gritty with Caitlin Clark.
And when Clark tried to get Mitchell involved, you could tell. The Fever still had some work ahead of them.
Clark, Boston, Mitchell.
7 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, a block, 17 minutes of work. the numbers don't jump off the page, but for a player coming back from 9 months on the sidelines, this was the only kind of return that mattered. The Fever rolled 109 to 91. Every part of her game was already there.
Just here for Clark. She will launch, draws the foul, and will shoot 3 free throws.
That's how you scare an entire arena silent. Her first home game in 9 months. And Caitlin Clark was down on the floor in front of her own crowd. And for 1 second, nobody knew what came next. But one thing was for sure, Caitlin Clark doesn't stay down for long. She never has.
And again, a lot of shoes were filled last year.
Catch and shoot, and Clark delivers with a 3.
4 of the last 4 #1 picks in the league were all in this building tonight, with Clark, Buchers, Boston, and Azzi Fudd on the same floor. The whole next generation in one place. And just 5 days after the Liberty, this was game 2 of the preseason, this time against Dallas. And from the jump, Clark wasn't easing into anything. Beckers tries to pick her up before she can even get across half court, but Clark just uses the speed. One dribble, and it's a blow-by straight to the rim for the easy layup.
As Clark gets by Beckers and gets to the rim.
And from the jump, she was telling who the real #1 pick was. And a few possessions later, she gave the crowd exactly what they came for.
You've got Caitlin Clark back on the floor.
Yes, it is. And again, a lot of shoes were filled last year.
Catch and shoot, and Clark delivers with a 3.
Catch and shoot. No hesitation, like she'd been thinking about this shot for 9 straight months. And then on the other end, she did it again. Picked it off in transition, full sprint, and used that same speed for another wide open layup.
And it's Clark who sets sail for the other end.
Look how easy she makes it look. The steal, the full court sprint, and not a single Dallas defender can stay in front. And on the very next possession, she pulled up from deep again. The shot didn't fall, but you could already see the confidence coming back.
Clark steps back and misses on a 3 ball.
But Dallas wasn't going to let her cook all night. They tried to put her fire out early, starting with the hard contact. But Clark drew the foul, knocked down the free throws, and just kept rolling. It was still the first quarter. The Fever were up, and Clark was looking to ramp it up even more, but her teammates just couldn't keep up.
Clark over the shoulder. Billings couldn't finish inside. That was
And not much later, Dallas decided to ramp up the fouls too.
trying to work her way off the screen. Clark gets free. Clark dancing, has the size advantage, tries to use it, draws the...
Luckily, the refs called it, and that gave Clark 2 more at the line to knock down. And all that hard focus on her, it left her teammates wide open, and Clark took full advantage of every one of them.
I fade away.
Clark crosses Allen up, drives in to draw the big, and leaves Billings standing wide open.
Blows by Allen, finds Billings who connects.
Same thing on the next play. Coming out of the pick and roll, she spots the gap and feeds her teammate once again.
Feed inside, it's Hines Allen.
And on the next play, she hit them with the reverse. Dallas was so focused on her teammates by now. They left Clark wide open for the 3.
Kimbrough, extra pass, Clark, bullseye.
And the Fever went into the second quarter with a slight lead, and you could already see it. Clark was slowly getting back to her level. Into the second, she kept that momentum rolling. But Dallas wasn't done with the contact at the rim either.
Came to Indiana playing against Butler, and the way that she gets to her spots is not the fastest, but it's efficient.
Here's Clark on the drive and draws the foul.
That was already foul number too many, and Dallas wasn't shy about putting hands on her. But for now, Clark just stepped up and knocked down both free throws. Sooner or later, somebody was going to cross the line.
And the Dallas Wings are just keeping that ball on one side.
Not even the second half yet, and the free throw line was already starting to feel like Clark's second home. Dallas was losing control, and not even a play later, it happened again.
Clark on the handoff for Billings, and she's fouled again.
And all that constant physical play was finally working in Dallas's favor. They built up a 19-point lead, and Clark took a step back, let her teammates carry more of the work.
Clark bouncing, Hines Allen rolling into traffic and draws the foul.
And it cost her because her momentum and rhythm was starting to fade.
Clark through the hands of Simpson, and Indiana turns it over for the 10th time.
And ending the half, things weren't looking too good for the Fever. A double-digit gap, going against a team that was focused on Clark a little too much, even for preseason. But Clark was sitting on 19 points already, and she had the power to bring them back. And coming out of the break, she used it to feed Kelsey Mitchell early on.
Let alone guard.
Looking backdoor. Oh, where only Mitchell could get it.
A perfect backdoor pass to the cutting Mitchell. And it was working so well, Clark decided to run it again on the very next play.
Rebounds. And they'll go back to her again.
There it is.
The momentum was real, and Dallas saw it too, so they decided to stop it. For good this time.
She will launch, draws the foul, and will shoot 3 free throws.
Clark got the quick handoff from beyond the arc. She pulled up to shoot, and that's when somebody finally crossed the line. Clark's right foot hits Smith's foot first. Her body twists, and she comes straight down on her own kneecap. Hard. Officials reviewed the play and upgraded the foul to a flagrant one. And somehow, Caitlin Clark walked herself back to the free throw line. And after that, Stephanie White made the call. 21 points in 16 minutes on her first home game in 9 months, and as Clark walked off the floor, the whole building stood up for her one more time. Without Clark on the floor, the Wings just kept stretching it. 2 preseason games, 2 scares, and 2 reminders. Luckily, the injury wasn't serious, but she's going to have to watch her back, because the rest of the league already has a target on it. Year 3 starts now.
Back here for Clark. She will launch, draws the foul, and will shoot 3 free throws.
2 days ago, everyone thought her season was over before it even began, but luckily, it couldn't have been further from the truth.
Checking in for Nigeria.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Get him. That's it. She could have passed.
Nigeria against Indiana, an exhibition to close out the preseason. But even in these friendlies, Clark wasn't always getting the protection she needed.
Clark felt like she was fouled.
First possession back, Clark let the 3 fly.
With the rebound, they had some trouble on the glass on Thursday. Clark will launch.
And even when it didn't fall, you could see it. The confidence was right where she'd left it. On defense, the story didn't change either. A quick poke from Clark, and Cunningham was right there to finish the transition play.
In the hands of Cunningham, she will pull up and drop a triple.
From the jump, it was clear the Fever were on another level, but Nigeria stayed choppy, keeping the physicality high. This didn't faze Caitlin at all.
Clark's still looking for her first points here tonight, and she gets them.
And after what happened last game, that choppiness was something to be careful of, and Clark knew it too. She got the bucket and was already expecting the call to go with it, but the refs didn't see it. Stephanie White knew it was risky for her too. She pulled Clark aside and told her to avoid those situations. And on the very next play, Clark did just that, and more.
Checking in for Nigeria.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Get him. That's it. She could have passed it.
Limitless range from way out, and not much later, she showed she had the vision to match it too.
Shot fake the 3, inside for Timpson, that was pretty.
A real laser dime to end the quarter. Her vision was unmatched, and the Fever were already up by 14. The script of this game was already written, and in the second quarter, Clark just kept rolling. She attacked the rim, but the heavy hands were right there waiting again.
Clark on the handoff on the drive, and she will head to the line.
And right back to the free throw line, something she'd gotten very familiar with after last game, so she calmly stepped up and sunk both. And not much later, Clark sucked the whole Nigeria defense in and left the cutting Cunningham with a wide open look.
Clark surveying, backdoor pass, beautiful find to Cunningham.
A timing she rarely gets wrong, and Nigeria knew it was time to put more pressure on her. They got physical, and the refs waited a long time to step in.
Clark felt like she was fouled there on the drive, doesn't get the whistle. Got clock down to 7, Clark crossing over. And that time she will get the whistle.
See, that
Nigeria simply couldn't keep up with her shiftiness, and Clark knew the refs should have called it on that earlier foul, so she let them know about it. And then, when she gave Nigeria a taste of what she'd been getting, the refs called it on her instantly, like they had it out for her.
Yeah, see, that's a foul, Caitlin.
But not much later, Nigeria tried to test their luck again, and this time, the refs had her back.
Let's go live.
Another trip to the free throw line, but this physicality in preseason wasn't something the Fever were going to risk much longer. But before that, she gave us one last dime to her partner in threes.
Well, Clark, extra pass, Mitchell.
Clark's night ended early, 12 points in 13 minutes, 3 of 4 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 4 of 4 at the line, 3 assists, 0 turnovers. The kind of efficiency that says one thing: I'm back. The Fever rolled to 105-57, a 48-point blowout in the preseason finale. Nigeria, the world's 8th-ranked national team, walked out of Indianapolis without a chance. 3 preseason games, 3 different stories. Liberty was the return, Dallas was the scare, and tonight was the statement. The Fever closed the preseason 2-1, with their star healthy, with their bench dominant, and with everything they lost last season finally back. Regular season starts in 3 days, and whoever gets them first might want to think twice. Year 3 is here.